Welcome to OctoberFest, motherfuckers!
By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this wake up.
It's 1,000 years to Christmas, Mr. Howard.
Wait. That's right. There's another tradition. Very important. Always check your candy.
There is peace and serenity in the light.
You said don't go into the light! Can somebody tell me what the Sam Hill is going on around here?
Well, we can't, sir.
Who are you?
We're the Monster Squad.
Really? Wow. Welcome back to the project. You guys didn't hear that. I'm just like, motherfucker, seriously? It's like, and it wasn't even anything bad. I'm just like, wow, that was the reference you went with.
Well,
so.
you know, hey, it's late. I'm tired.
And I'm leaving.
Drew the short straw.
So anyway.
Barry has run me out of the podcast. I'm leaving.
And here I thought it'd be Alan. Speaking of which,
Welcome back to the Project Gen X podcast. I'm Alan Smith along with.
I'm the other guy, Big Dave, and now I don't want to be here.
And this may be the gayest episode we ever did.
stop.
And we'll get into that here in just a second. So it's
Alan, put your shirt back on.
This
Put your shirt back
episode,
on.
we are going to be covering the 1987 movie The Lost Boys.
Yes. Yes. This is one I've been waiting. So
Alan, put the baby oil away.
No,
Put it away.
no.
Hey, he still believes, man.
That's right.
He still believes.
It's all that sexuality. Man.
Oh, yes.
God. Man, all right, Barry, go ahead and do what you're gonna do. This is.
I love how you just got to toss it over to me. All right.
This episode has already gone full off the rails.
Dave, we were talking about this, and I was like, I'll say it before. I was like, first off, neither think of this movie as a horror movie nor a fall movie. And, God, I don't even remember what the fuck I was getting ready to say. But yeah, I've never looked at this movie as whatever. Anyways, Dave was like, "Yeah, this will be a fun episode to do, though." And I was like, "Let me tell you, by the time that we're done with this, everyone will be mad at me."
And I said, and I legitimately looked at him and said, "And that's what's going to make it fun."
I was about to say it. The best part is we're already kind of there.
By the time that this episode is over, you guys are going to be angry with me about this movie.
The only reason I agreed to do this movie is because there are vampires.
I got it.
Yes.
And it's an anniversary.
All right.
It is an anniversary. It's 35th anniversary.
It's got a killer soundtrack.
And it has a killer soundtrack. Killer.
Anyway, Barry, go ahead and,
Yes, sir.
and do your thing.
All right. Lost Boys. Original release date, July 31st, 1987. Again, another July release date on these.
Again, neither a horror movie
All right, fair.
nor a fall movie.
Fair.
And the fact that Hollywood has no idea how to market horror movies in the correct time.
You're not wrong. Directed by Joel Schumacher. Not the original director, though.
Nope.
Originally was going to be directed by Richard Donner.
I can see that to a point.
And his premise behind this
The Frog
was...
Brothers being the... I can see
It was,
that.
well, actually, in the Donner version of it, the cast was going to be a lot younger all the way around, and it was going to be like a vampire Goonies. That was his premise for this.
I can see that.
But Donner left the production on this to go make Lethal Weapon.
Which ties back to our Tales from the Crypt
Yes, it
episode.
does. Yes, it does. So it kind of comes all circle. See, there was a reason for doing this episode.
There we go.
All right. Original screenplay. The writer on this was Janice Fisher, and James Jeremias. Those are some fun names to say.
Never trust anyone with two first names.
Yeah, there you go. Distributed by Warner Brothers. As I said, the release date was in July. Budget on this puppy was $8.5 million. Mm-hmm. Box office 32.2. So it didn't do half bad.
This movie,
it had more of a life in home video.
It had First off, yes, it was a home video that
Definitely
really made this movie. It was also the soundtrack had a lot.
Oh, yeah.
When it was in theaters, the soundtrack had a lot more traction than this.
Yes,
So,
Definitely.
and still does to this day.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, it had a really nice cast to it as
Yes,
well.
it does.
So
Very good cast.
Let's go over it.
It has the Coreys.
Well,
No, it
hang
has-
on. Hang
yeah,
on.
that's true.
This is actually the first of the Coreys movies.
Yeah.
The very first time they were together. But first, you
The
have.
best of the Coreys movies.
Yeah, well, you're not wrong.
The only Coreys movies that's worth watching.
Actually, did you ever see Blown Away?
Never did.
No.
Okay, it was one that came out in the early mid '90s, somewhere around in there. This is what it is. Straight to video. It's the Coreys and Nicole Eggert.
Okay.
That's really all you need to know.
right.
And it's kind of one
Done.
of those. It's kind of one of those like. It wasn't really a Skinabacks movie,
But close enough.
But yeah, you could see Nicole Eggert naked in it, you know. And it's like we're going to talk about a lot of stuff on here.
Oh, yeah,
probably going
yeah.
to be really uncomfortable for some people, but
I
we're
will
going to have
say,
fun.
Before we even get into this, I do have a favorite Coreys movie. It's,
Okay.
It's still Dream a Little
I
Dream.
know, yeah.
I love that
You're-
damn movie.
You're a
That's
weirdo.
actually not a bad.
I love that damn
You're a
movie. All right.
fucking weirdo.
So the rest of this cast: Jason Patric playing Michael Emerson. Yes, I can never remember their last name. Jason Patric has been around forever. Was in Solar Babies. Was in quite a few of them. Was one of my favorite movies that he was in.
Don't forget Smoke Jumpers.
Smoke Jumpers, Sleepers.
You don't know what I'm talking about.
I
do you?
have no clue.
It's
Obviously.
it's an Entourage reference.
Oh God! All right, fair.
Oh no.
For those of you who actually watched Entourage, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Hug it out, baby. Hug it out.
Hug it out. As previously mentioned, Corey Haim plays Sam, Michael's younger brother.
Yes.
Prior to this, the biggest movie that he had done, Lucas.
Prior to this,
Yeah, that was his first movie, was Lucas. And that was 84, 85, something like
do you
that.
not have anything else in between that?
Not that I remember. Not that
All
I
right,
can
I
find.
don't know what's in.
All right, from Lucas to a vampire.
Playing David Powers, Mr. Jack Bauer Power Hour himself, Kiefer Sutherland.
Kiefer.
Playing Paul was an actor, Brooke McCarter. He didn't really have a whole lot.
Was that
after
the little? No, that was Manny.
That was
wasn't it?
Manny.
Yeah, sorry.
Playing Dwayne was Billy Wirth. The biggest movie I could find that he did was a movie called Boys on the Side.
That's fine. Oh, the Drew Barrymore movie.
Yes,
Yeah.
and with Whoopi
Now
Goldberg.
tell us who the other one is.
Oh,
Wild Stallion.
Marco. Marco,
Yes, Alex
played by
Winter.
Alex Winters. Oh my gosh. Playing Lucy Emerson, Michael and Sam's mom, is
Diane Weiss. Yeah.
Diane Weiss, who's known for so many different movies, but my favorite one still of hers is Edward Scissorhands. I still love that damn movie. I don't care what anybody says. Playing
We're
the
gonna
Frog
Agree
Brothers.
to disagree.
No, hold on. You skipped Grandpa.
Oh, I'm getting to Grandpa. Oh, you want the whole family on that
Because
first?
Grandpa is a
Bernard Hughes.
Yes.
Played Grandpa. You know him from one of our previous episodes, actually two of our previous episodes.
yes, you do.
Tron, and I can't remember what the other one was.
If he hadn't said that, we'd
I know.
go right off.
But
Then I could probably go
he
back
was-
and look it up, but I'm not going to.
In Tron, he was
Yeah.
Dumont.
Yeah.
Dumont.
But the Frog Brothers, you have Edgar and Allen. Which I
Thing
still
about
love
Santa Cruz, all the damn vampires.
that. The fact that he couldn't find aftershave and used Windex.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if he doesn't know the dad from My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Oh, God.
Was it the Widow Johnson? Is that who?
The Widow Johnson,
Yeah.
yes. So playing Alan Frog was an actor by the name of Jameson Newlander. Now, Jameson really
I was
is
gonna say, did we really see him in anything after
the
this?
sequels. It's
Okay.
about really the only thing that he
Okay.
did.
Don't ever watch any of the sequels.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Playing Edgar Frog was Corey Feldman,
Right.
known from The Goonies.
Talking like this the entire time.
Yes. Playing Star was
Jamie
Jamie
Gertz.
Gertz.
Yep.
Got the role because Jason Patric basically said if she didn't get hired, he was going to quit because they worked together in Solar Babies.
This was the same year as Less Than Zero, was it not?
Oh, I think it was.
Or they were like, maybe
they were
that was
close.
the next year.
They were
maybe.
right. They were
close.
close together.
But
I had the biggest crush on her.
oh God, I loved her in Square Pegs. That was
Yes,
one of my
she was in Square,
favorites.
That's
Yeah.
right. But people would have known her from prior to this.
Yes.
More than anything.
Playing Laddie was Chance Michael Corbett.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really do a whole lot from there. There's a few other kind of it's that guys. You know, Greg was Alexander Bacon Chapman. Shelley was played by Nori Morgan.
Come on, tell us why you still believe. Come on.
I'm getting to it. Playing Maria was an actress named Kelly Jo Minter. She was in the movie Summer School.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't really see her. She doesn't have a lot of
No,
speaking roles, but
she's there. Yes,
you know? There's two that I've left to the end. The first one, as Dave mentioned, playing greased up sax guy, is Tim Capello.
Oh my god!
Who his next biggest role?
Who 35 years later is still playing shirtless
because he still believes.
Because he still believes.
And one that we just recently lost. I have to give credit.
Okay.
The gentleman that played Max, Edward Herman.
Mm-hmm.
He is it's that guy if you've ever seen one. If you need a stand-up, just like stiff human being, that's your guy. He was in Annie. He was in a couple of episodes of MASH. He was in, so many different movies. But he always plays the stiff. And the one that I loved was an old Disney movie that he was in called The North Avenue Irregulars that nobody remembers but me.
I do remember that movie.
Yeah. Alan, I know you want to do it.
What?
Give us the synopsis of this movie.
I think he kind of did with Vampire Goonies.
Yeah, Vampire Goonies kind of hits it around the head.
The family moves to Santa Cruz, California to live with the grandfather.
After a bad divorce. Michael
falls in with some ruffians because he wants to get with Star, who's very elusive, and becomes a vampire. And then
that's like the worst synopsis I've ever.
Oh my god!
Give.
Yeah, you're just like
there's a lot of really great music, and
except for the one song from Greasy Sax Guy.
And I
like
still
it.
Kind of a good song. It's like, and then at the end of it, Grandpa saves the day. So
of course,
who is aware of all the vampires?
Wait. And they completely change a lot of vampire lore for this in order to make it work for the movie. So, and we'll get into all this. And one of my biggest gripes I have with this, but anyway,
all right,
go right ahead.
All right.
So
you often ask about the box office, the opening weekend.
Right.
This opened at number 2.
Okay.
I couldn't find what opened ahead of it, but it had a domestic gross of right around 32.2 mil on an 8.5 budget, so it made about a little over 3 times its money. Not bad. Definitely had more of a life in the home video market as well as HBO. When HBO picked this sucker up, they ran it all the damn time.
You know why? Because people are strange when you're a stranger.
Oh, you want to just get right into the soundtrack?
That's the best thing about this movie.
All right, let's get into the soundtrack because the soundtrack is just uncannily amazing.
Jimmy Barnes and INXS.
Yes, it's going to have a good time tonight.
Yeah,
yes.
You had that, and you had Gerald McMahon. Cry Little Sister. I mean,
Roger Daltrey doing "Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me."
Yes,
and one of my favorite, and I said this once before, Lou Gramm doing "Lost in the Shadows."
Oh, so good.
I said this when we talked about, I think it was our 82 or whatever. I like more Lou Gramm songs than I do Foreigner songs, and this is one top of the list.
You're not wrong.
So. And I will go on record, and I may get some stink eyes on this because you know me, I'm the cover songs guy. This soundtrack has one of the greatest cover songs ever. Echo and the Bunnymen doing People Are Strange.
I like this version better than the Doors version.
I kind of agree with you on that.
I like
Jim Morrison.
I like them both, but it's Echo and the Bunnymen.
Yeah,
it's hard to screw that up.
This song, for
bring on the dancing horses.
For whatever reason, with this this it seems to have more life than the Doors version ever did.
It's so
strange
level to it too. And maybe it's just that kind of the British element coming through on it. Maybe it's just, I don't know what it is.
It's Echo and the Bunnymen. They have an eerie everything. I mean, Killing Moon. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
yes.
I know. It just.
Yes.
I have listened to the soundtrack so many times. It's in the last 35 years. Yeah. So, where do we want to go? I mean.
There's so many different directions we can go on this.
Let me just go ahead and get some of my gripes out.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead.
This is where it gets fun.
I really don't like you got to kill the head vampire.
Yeah, they kind of took a little liberty with that one.
There's been a lot of vampire shows that have picked up on that and run.
I know.
Yeah.
This is also one of the first vampire movies I believe I saw where it wasn't a vampire bite that turned you.
It was just drinking the blood.
Yeah. Now, I know that's kind of become, especially with Anne Rice, there was some lore with that already.
Right.
But this was kind of the first real mainstream movie that went into that.
That's a good point. I didn't think about
that. Which, again, going forward from here, you see that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, there usually will be some kind of bite/drinking of the blood that, it's a combination, but this one really didn't. The only time they bit people was when they were killing them. That was it, And
even then, it wasn't necessarily feasting. It was just destroying them.
The whole, you don't actually turn into a vampire until you
made your first
until
kill.
You make your first kill.
Right.
Again, messing with all that BS. This wasn't the first time that you heard a vampire has to be invited into your house.
Now, that is one that I like the way that they played off of it.
Yeah, but it was also one of those things where that was not a prominent piece of the lore that most people knew prior to this.
Yeah.
And this kind of really brought it in, and that goes, again, you go into Buffy and all that kind of stuff, and
Right.
it really plays on all that. I don't have a problem with that one as much as I do the head vampire BS.
Yeah,
crap,
I mean, that was definitely an element that they took a lot of liberties with and brought that in. And could they have done it better? I think so.
Oh, they could have done so much better.
But, I mean, it's still, for what it was, you have to remember, this was a movie that was kind of working off of a premise that really hadn't been adventured into too much. There's a reason why it was called The Lost Boys. They were trying to play off the idea of
the
almost
Pinocchio thing.
Peter Pan.
Yeah,
Peter Pan.
Yeah, kind of a
the
Peter
Lost
Pan
Boys.
aspect of it. You have one person that's running the show, and the rest of them are just kind of following along with them.
Right.
And that kind of plays into that head vampire aspect. So
Right.
I'm willing to give it a little bit more
Plus the
of
fact, could they have ever, tipped their hand to who the head vampire was any harder than they did in this movie?
Well, yeah. It was pretty hand-fisted.
I mean, that was like, oh, gee, I wonder who the head vampire is.
It was definitely telegraphed.
When halfway through the damn movie, they all walk into the store and they're looking at each other, and he's like, "Oh, those are just my boys." Mm-hmm. And I'm like, "Yeah, no, you just told me right there.
It
Thanks."
Well, when he comes to aren't you going to invite me in? The head of the house has to invite me in. Well,
Yep.
Gee, I wonder what that has to do with anything, And I'm not saying that 35 years. And I'm like, no, I picked up on that the first time I watched this movie of like, oh, geez, they did. Some of the special effects are really good in this. Some of the special effects are really bad in this.
Yeah. Oh, I agree.
Yeah. And there's a lot of just the whole them going up to the railroad trestle.
Yeah.
And
that was actually kind of cool. I liked that.
Initially.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what's your problem with it?
It doesn't go anywhere.
Well, it's the whole idea of
the I get the whole the whole he's like, oh my god, and of course I do like that whole thing where he's still holding on and you can hear them laughing and calling
telling him,
Michael,
"Let go,
come on,
let
Michael, let go,
go."
Michael. Blah.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool, very reminiscent of that scene in Silver Bullet.
Yes.
When they're when they're out
Yeah.
chasing and there's the fog and they can't you can't see, all you're getting is these glimpses of something reaching up and grabbing people. I was like, I really like that. That scene just, it's very abrupt of he finally lets go.
But I think
there's a
kinda
little
had to
bit
be.
that lingers, and then next thing you know, he's waking up in bed.
Right.
And it's like,
But that plays off that whole element of, did this really happen? Were you dreaming this? What was going on?
and of course, the thing
I like this.
The thing
I think it works well.
The thing that will tell you more than anything else that somebody's turning into a vampire is the fact they're wearing sunglasses and they now have an earring. I mean, that just really, I mean, it just there is a very good movie here.
Yeah.
There is a much better movie here.
So are you
than what we're
already
getting.
saying that you want to see a remake?
No.
Oh,
How do I say this delicately?
Can you?
Because
I don't know.
I would say no. I like this movie as it is. It's a timepiece. Leave it alone.
Also, let me say this, and I will put the disclaimer on the front of what I'm about to say.
Oh God.
I am in no way condemning anyone's lifestyle or whatever when I say this. But the only movie that's gayer than this one is Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Okay.
See,
And a lot of that I know comes from the fact that Joel Schumacher was an openly gay director, even at this time, and there's a lot of that there.
I
And like I even picked up on that way back because there's obviously something going on between Michael and Kiefer Sutherland's character here.
Well,
okay,
but, I mean,
and I know it's the whole thing they're going with her, but it's like no. There is a whole lot more going on here. It's not even subtext anymore.
I disagree
and there's
with
no
you.
problem with that. There's a lot because you go back and watch The Hunger. Okay, there's a lot there. Vampire myths have always, especially in the 20th century, played with a lot of that. You know,
but they played with the idea of not even sexuality.
It's like just sexuality in general.
It's
beyond
not even sexuality.
beyond
It's an
regular
intimacy,
sexuality. Right?
And I think that's and I don't think that's necessarily gay or straight either way. I think that was the element of a vampire because that's been used in so many movies. Even if you go back to Bela Lugosi, it's that
Absolutely.
whole idea
No,
of just
and I get
that
And
draw,
it's-
that
and it is
intimacy, that
very
focus.
much. It is very much a but again,
Seduction.
Yes, thank you, Dave.
Let's talk about the sweaty sax guy on the beach,
Greased
okay?
up sax guy.
or the opening to the movie. With the punk rockers or whatever, and it's like all the leather clad and shirtless and
Well,
the
but you know
very
as well as I do that was.
I get that, but the Village People are a thing.
Okay, so that notwithstanding, I'm going to say this.
And again, I'm not.
Yeah.
It's just, and sometimes some of this also is hindsight. You might not catch a lot. I always knew there was something else going on here. I couldn't quite put my finger on it back when I was 13 watching this movie. Eventually, you start seeing a lot of it, and then okay, I get it. It's fine. Especially, you also had to remember especially the gay community was going through at the time with AIDS. Okay, and vampirism is a great, with
It's an interesting analogy. It's an
between
interesting
the two.
analogy. I'll give you that.
But I don't dislike this movie because of that. That's that's just me kind of having some fun. I just think there's a lot more that can be done with this movie. There's so much more that could have been done with this movie, and I don't know. I think put in the hands of a better director.
Wow, that's a bold statement. Go ahead.
Joel Schumacher. I mean, come on. I mean, name
Which Batman did he do?
Forever and Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about nipple suit Batman.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, go away.
There are plenty of other Joel Schumacher movies you can go down the line.
Okay.
Like, okay, that was a bad movie. That was a bad movie. I know he had a style. It was very over the top. It was very flashy. Right. This movie is very over the top and very flashy.
Yeah.
Okay. It gets back in that whole. It's a lot of style over substance.
Okay. Well, hang on. You made a couple of points. Let me address them. First off, No. You made some valid points on this. I think as far as the elements that you were talking about on what the punk rockers and stuff like that,
right?
I think you're looking for zebras instead of horses, because if you think a lot of movies back then, they were all doing that. If they wanted to represent the bad kids or the lost kids or whatever, they were going with that.
You always go to the punks and the metalheads.
The punks, the metalheads, the burnouts, the bikers, all that kind of stuff, and that's what this did. So I don't think that was necessarily any kind of a analogy, for any type of
I think I have to agree with him on this point. Because
I can agree that you're both wrong.
There were all kinds of movies that used that demographic.
I know. And I'm not
our demographic as the bad
I'm not
kids.
saying it's 100. It's a 1-to-1 comparison.
It's an interesting analogy,
and
it definitely would be one I'd be curious to see. If anybody's ever interviewed Schumacher about that.
Well, they're not going to these days.
Exactly. But
actually, no. There is an interview with him where he talks about some of maybe not that, but he talks about trying to weave in allegories there with the gay community.
I mean, that's
which
cool.
Is, again, there are plenty of great movies that do that kind of stuff.
And
I just don't feel like this is one of them.
Well, and see, I think this movie was unique for so many things, so many good things, that there's the reason why this movie is so beloved. And so many people
think this movie is beloved because people saw it at a certain age, and it's kind of like so many other movies you see at a certain age that you think is good, and then you go back years later and watch it, and you're still trying to do the mental gymnastics to say that it's good.
I disagree with you because
I'm going to disagree. This is no never-ending story.
Well,
100%.
No,
100%.
it's not. It is not a never-ending story. I will give you that. Okay, but that's a whole other level of.
But I think this one had that good balance.
going back and revisiting this movie, I feel like I'm seeing the same movie I saw back then, unlike Neverending Story, where I'm like, I saw a completely different movie when I was a kid than what I'm seeing now. Okay?
No, I agree.
It's like
and I think, see, this movie to me, it has a good balance of that seriousness / scary / humor / kid-like / everything, so it kind of hits on everything. You can see Richard Donner's hands all over
Here's
it.
my last point on what I said earlier.
Go ahead.
Why in the hell do they have a poster of Rob Lowe in a tank top in their bedroom?
Because he was almost cast in the movie. It was a joke.
But still, I remember like as a kid going like, why is that in a teenage boy's bedroom?
Not to mention that was a Schumacher call for one reason. You got to remember what movie Schumacher directed in '81.
I know.
St. Elmo's Fire.
I know.
So it was a joke. That's why that was thrown in.
Another bad Schumacher.
Well, you know. But see, and that's what I like about this movie, because one minute you're getting this whole, the Kiefer Sutherland character in this movie was so just encompassing.
Sinister.
He was sinister. It was that idea of just taking... And the funny thing is, if you go back and watch the movie, as a main cast member, he has the fewest lines of anybody.
I was going to say, Kiefer Sutherland is the breakout character from... His character is the breakout character from this movie.
I would agree with that.
Anybody else.
I would definitely agree
I will
with that.
say that.
Yeah.
Again, it's going into Kiefer Sutherland is a great actor.
Yep.
Okay, I will say that across the board. He's a great actor. He's been in some bad films, but he is a great actor.
Yeah.
He always brings something to the role that you might not have thought was there on the page. And I think he did that really well here.
Yeah.
And again, he didn't have to say a whole lot.
But what he did...
But what he did, and that's...
It was his...
He had a very commanding presence.
It's the way he moved.
Yes.
It was
Well, it was the look. It was the movement. It was his ability to work with his facial character.
Yeah.
It was his very... I hesitate to say stilted, but the way that he spoke was very...
it was a different pattern.
Now, what's the word I'm looking for?
Okay, hang on.
There was a lot of determination. Well, not determination. It's
intent.
Yeah, it's something. When he spoke, there were not a lot of wasted words.
Right.
When he said something, every word meant something.
So
I'll give that. I will give that.
Okay. So I want to set a scene for you on this, and I want you to think about this for a second.
Okay.
You obviously have seen the old Dracula movies.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen quite a few different vampire movies.
Absolutely.
In different renderings. Think about the way that those vampires spoke in those movies. It was very direct.
Yes.
It was very slow. It was very intense.
I wouldn't say slow. I would say measured.
Measured. Okay, measured's a better word.
Measured's a better word there.
But it was very intense, which is exactly what Kiefer Sutherland did. It's exactly, if you go back and watch what Edward Herrmann did in this movie, even, he was trying to play it off, but he got a little corny, I'm not going to lie, but he was very much in that same vein. And that's what I think was so good about this, as it carries that same element of how vampires were shown in the past and carries it into a modern day, an 80s modern day, granted, but a modern day setting that still kind of pays, I don't want to say pays homage, but carries those same traits.
Well, and to dig into some of the other vampire movies, it could be you go back to, their pre...
You're not going to bring up Die Blackula Die, are you?
No. Okay. No. They're a supernatural creature, and they have incredible strength. They have incredible speed. And in some of these other more modern day movies, they talk about how they have to concentrate to appear to be human.
Yes.
Because all their movements and everything they do is just a little bit quicker, and that's part of what puts regulars off of them. So
and the way that they set these guys in that kind of environment, to quote Hunter S. Thompson, they were just another freak in the freak parade.
Right.
I mean, it worked beautifully.
Especially there on the pier.
Yes.
That's... I'll tell you, besides Kiefer Sutherland, the thing that I do love about this movie is the actual setting.
Oh, yes.
Being on the pier in California and Santa Cruz, and you have the gutter ponds.
Santa Carla, sir. Santa Carla.
You have
Santa Carla. It's almost the Venice Pier before
Very
it was
much,
the Venice Pier.
But, you know,
Right.
still having, like, all that stuff that you
Yeah.
would see on the pier,
Yeah.
like the comic book store and all the carnival
little vendors
games,
and stuff, yeah.
the vendors and you know, live bands playing on the pier,
Guys
on
riding
the beach,
motorcycles to the beach.
you got the gutter punks, you got, you know, all these different, you know, you got the people, it's the normies that are coming in and hanging
And there's
out.
no vacationers here. This is not a vacation spot. This is a forgotten little
Well, you know,
inlet.
the whole
in
thing when
California.
Michael asked his grandfather, you know, so is Santa Clara the murder capital of the world? And he says, well, let's put it this way. If all the dead people suddenly stood up, we'd have a serious population boom.
So-
you know, that is...
Do you know why they called it the murder capital of the world, or where that played off of?
Well, there's this amount of children that had gone missing in that area.
As far as why they use that type of phrasing in the movie, though.
Okay.
So this is something I found out. So you were right that Santa Carla was patterned after Santa Cruz.
Right.
And the reason why it was called the murder capital of the world is, let's see if any of these names sound familiar to you.
Richard Ramirez.
John Lindsay Frazier, Herbert Mullen, Edward Kemper. All of them were from Santa Cruz.
Right.
Between the three of them, they murdered over 28 people alone. I mean, you know, anywhere
That we know
in the
of.
process
That
of
we
30,
know of.
That we
but
know
no,
of. You always
28
have to say that with serial killers. That we know of.
But it's
So
28 people in the process of 30 months.
Right.
That's why they called Santa Cruz the murder capital of the world.
that we know of.
Yeah,
That we know.
fair. So when they set that into the element of they wanted to have an environment, I can't think of a more perfect way to play that in, because you know that there are corpses around that nobody knows about.
Right.
When they pass by the light poles and you see all the missing posters, I
know
love
tons
that.
of them. I know.
And the fact that if you looked very carefully, you could see that some of the vampires that they were talking
on
about
that.
are on that poster
yes,
board.
yes.
You know, I was loving that.
And some of them became vampires, and some of them became a snack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So speaking of Kiefer, one thing that I thought was kind of interesting, did you notice that he was the only vampire wearing gloves?
No, I never.
There's a reason for it.
He had okay. his hands or something.
Nope. A week before they started filming, he broke his wrist.
Oh.
Driving a motorcycle.
Of course.
So if you ever watch when he's driving, he's doing it very stiff-armed.
Yeah.
That's why he's still casted up, and they had to put a glove over his hand to hide that.
Well, I know that scene when they go to their hive.
Yes.
And, you know, they attack, and Kiefer Sutherland, like, there's that shot of his face, and his tears coming down.
Mm-hmm.
That was the
contact
lenses, and they left it in because they were like, that's just a great shot.
Yeah, because they were miserable in those
I
contacts.
know.
They were just destroying their eyes, and they were so painful.
Yeah.
But they got that shot of, I think it's like he's getting hit with sunlight or something,
Right,
and
right.
he's
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh, dude, when they stake that one vampire who's whatever, the amount of blood.
Did you notice that the blood was kind of shiny?
Yeah.
There was a lot of glitter in
Yeah,
the fake
that
blood.
was,
so.
yeah. There's where the Twilight thing comes in.
There you go.
Those are not vampires. Those are fairies. I don't care what anybody says.
Jeez.
Those are trash.
Again, goes back to what I said earlier.
Trash movies.
Well, and the funny thing is, if you go back and watch the way that these guys were knocked off,
Right.
And can we just give a shout out to the Frog Brothers for a minute? I love the damn Frog Brothers in this. They were the most like gunk. They were the preppers before preppers existed. Okay.
I like the idea
of the Frog Brothers.
The Frog Brothers. I do not like the Frog Brothers in practice.
Oh, come on. How many friends do you have? I can think of one right off the top of my head right now who is such an expert on one particular area of things that, you know, no matter what you say or how you look at it, you're not going to tell him otherwise.
I know.
Yeah.
But
so,
it's... Maybe that's why I don't like them so
okay, fair. Fair. I can understand that.
But it is one of those things where it's like... I think it's the way that that especially Corey Feldman played this role.
Oh, he was over the top.
With the
very much over the top.
And the whole, like, you know, the tough guy thing. It's like, I'm sorry,
Well, you
Corey,
can tell that they have done
dude.
all the research and they've prepped everything, but they've never had to look the evil directly in the eye.
Right.
And when they get there,
they're terrified. I know.
They completely melt down.
Yeah, it's seen that plenty of times in real life with people who are all like gung ho and like, oh, I can do this, blah 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 blah, and then when push comes to shove, they're nowhere to be found.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
well, and there, I mean, I don't know. I loved the idea of these two kids. To your point, Dave, that thought they knew everything until they faced it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we were talking about Monster Squad with Rudy, where he's like he's the king badass until he's actually got to put it to practice.
Yeah. And but he put it to practice, but there was still some vulnerability there with that.
Right. And I think there's
Frog Brothers couldn't.
No, this was
they
were
were
just.
I saw more vulnerability in the non-Corey Frog Brother than I did in Corey.
I can see that.
Jameson looked like he was actually genuinely scared for his damn life.
Yeah.
And that's nothing against Corey Feldman, because Corey Feldman is actually a good actor.
He's had some great roles. He's had some great roles, and he's played some great characters.
But he just really went.
He tried to go Charles Bronson on this.
Yeah, and he
tried to go Dirty Harry.
He
Chuck
tried
Norris,
to go Rambo. I mean, the whole headband and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It wasn't there, and in a way, it's kind of endearing in the fact that it wasn't there, because it's like it reminded me of when a 6-year-old wants to be Rambo.
Yeah.
That's what it reminded me of.
I'll tell you where there was a huge missed opportunity.
Talk to me.
In this movie.
Mm-hmm.
When they go to the comic book store.
Yep.
And they're talking to them, and he's telling all this stuff about Santa Carla, everything. And he goes and he says, we believe that there are werewolves in the city council and high place, and they're going through all these like supernatural whatever. It's like, I want to know that stuff. That is there's a lot that they in that one scene they built a lot of backstory.
They had
see again.
They had a lot of backstory that could have become a universe.
Well, but I think, and you guys shit on Joel Schumacher, but I do think that's one thing that he does very well with a lot of his characters is he does plant seeds to where if you want to venture that down and do a deep dive,
he plants seeds, but they all die in the soil.
Not all
and
of them.
turn into nothing.
I've seen several movies that have spawned off of some of the ideas that were planted in his.
Like what he did with Bane.
Okay. All right. You're not wrong there. You're not wrong. But
not that Bane.
No, not that Bane.
That was
the one with Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, that Bane. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was just a bad idea.
Or the back credit card.
Yeah.
And what's bad is I like Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not talking about that movie. We're talking about Batman and Robin.
I know.
Where Bane's just kind of a henchman for Poison Ivy.
I'm trying to forget that movie because of nipple batsuit.
Okay.
Yeah, anyway.
All right. Well, I always talk about him, so I have to bring it up. Yeah, and I know. Before you say anything, I know every sequel to this movie that has come out has sucked.
There's
no other way to say it.
The Tribe, which was the first one that they did.
And it sucked.
And what was even worse, the fact that it sucked, was that stupid tag they put at the end of it, where Corey Feldman's sitting out there and he's like, I know you're here. Mm-hmm. I know you've been following us. And then Corey Haim shows up. And it's one of those things. What's so bad about it is it's not that. Okay, fine. We get that he's been turned into a vampire. Okay, that's actually pretty interesting. What's so bad about it is that he's sitting there and he goes, so are we going to do this? And then Corey Haim goes, oh, we're so going to do this.
Right.
Like, really? That's how that is what you're trying to entice us with stupid, terrible dialogue.
Well, so there's a couple, and again,
I refuse to watch any of them.
Yeah.
I think had they gone with some of the elements that Schumacher had pointed at, or had planted, it could have been so much better, because there were two spin-offs that were supposed to happen that never did. Mm-hmm. If you notice, all of the vampires died from either set on fire, killed with holy water, things like that.
Well,
except David. David was staked, but he was not destroyed. You didn't see that. And there was supposed to be a cutaway scene at the end of the movie where David slides off of that thing, gets back to the hive, and you look around and you look up and you see that Max was one of the head vampires, but not the head vampire.
I'm glad they did.
So it was going to open up that sequel, which also was supposed to open up The Lost Girls.
I remember them talking about a potential Lost Girls sound or
they tried it several times and it just never came to fruition.
And technically, you can't kill a vampire with holy water. You can
just burn them.
Well,
just burn them.
It destroys them.
It doesn't destroy them. It just.
But again, if
it's
Max
a way to
doesn't turn out to be the head vampire, then this entire movie exists for no reason whatsoever.
Well, I think
that is, and I'm glad they didn't do that. You know, and again, that's kind of the you you set this rule for your universe.
Yeah, and then you break it.
Well, no, you set this rule for your universe, and now you're married to it. You have to go with this, or else there's a bigger problem.
Yeah,
and again, it wasn't. There have been plenty of other. Like I remember, you remember Werewolf, the TV show.
Oh yeah.
And that was the whole thing where for him to break the curse of being a werewolf, he had to go and kill the werewolf that, basically the head werewolf.
Right.
Yeah.
And they did that whole thing where he did, because it was Chuck Connors played the werewolf that turned him.
Right.
He killed him, but then come to find out, the werewolf that turned him was still alive.
Yeah.
So, therefore, he was still the werewolf. He had to go chase him down. So it's one of those things, when you set these rules like that, especially something that's hard that way,
it's the kung fu
it's
rule.
hard to get out of it.
I mean,
It's
at that
just
point, you're getting into the whole underworld of it all.
This was way before Underworld.
I know,
I mean,
I know, but Underworld goes into that lore.
And Underworld gets so convoluted that
It's
that
kung
first
fu.
movie's
It's,
good.
you know.
The rest of them are
But I mean, so there are a lot of elements. I mean, and I'm not going to say this is the perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination. Is it dated? Absolutely.
Oh God.
Is it?
All right, showbiz token time.
Well, hold on. Here's the other thing.
All right.
It's not even the fact, we're talking with David. He didn't get staked.
No, he got run. Well, he did kind of get staked with the horns on the front of the car.
It was antlers.
Yeah.
No, he ran into all those antlers.
They were made out of wood, though. Do you not remember grandpa making those in the front?
It was not on the front of the car. He got hit with the truck and launched into the room.
The room with all the antlers.
Okay, so
where he was in there doing his taxidermy.
There's the argument of whether it was the antlers from taxidermy, but there's also a scene in there where he's out there whittling stuff down.
I know,
doing the wood carvings
and that's the whole thing that kills.
So.
That's the whole thing that kills Max is the stakes that he was putting in upside down.
Right,
comes flying in and kills him. I get that. Again, you're going back to the whole. So if Max is the head vampire, it doesn't matter whether he got staked or whatever. He's dead now, or he's not. He's not going to be a vampire.
Well, but David was killed before Max, though.
Right, but see, but here's the thing: if David goes up on that, he goes up on those antlers that aren't quote unquote stakes, okay?
Right?
But then Max gets killed shortly thereafter. He loses all supernatural, so he's going to die anyway.
Well, there's that.
Okay,
And you get back to the original lore to the reason why you stake a vampire is
to
to
put them in the
hold
ground.
Hold them in the ground.
Right. It's not to.
It's not the stake
not
through
to
the
dust
heart.
them or whatever.
Yeah.
So
Again, I'm saying that's what they were trying to open that up to say that Max was not the head vampire. Whether
for somebody who really hates rules, I hate when a movie breaks their own rules.
Yeah. And let's be honest, about the only way to kill a vampire is to cut the head off of it.
Yeah, I mean,
or set it on fire.
Whatever. I mean,
or
there's
leave it out in the sun.
Or car crash, or
No, not
old
car
age.
crash.
Old age. Yeah, exactly.
They don't
blow it up
age.
with dynamite.
Dynamite might work.
Kick it in the nards. Oh my gosh! All right. Showbiz token me, Dave. What do you think?
I think it's a solid 3.
Solid 3.
The soundtrack is 5.
Okay.
Soundtrack is 5 showbiz tokens, but the movie's a solid 3.
Okay. All right, Alan.
It's a week 2.
Ooh.
Very weak 2.
Ooh. Boo this man.
Very weak 2.
Boo this
Might even
man.
be down into the 1 3/4 in my opinion.
Okay.
I told you I do not have any love for this movie.
Yeah.
I mean there are elements I like, but overall, and it's one of those things that they had such a cool premise. And do you remember all of the I remember the television ads for it, but what I remember more was the radio ads that they had for this back, because this was I was in junior high.
Because they sounded
I was in junior high school.
They
It was one of those things that had the thing is like, hey, sleep all day, party all night. Must be great to be, must be great to be a vampire.
Yeah.
Which was amazing tagline on this. Like, yeah, that's right. And then you see this piece of crap, and it's like, wow, you just made this out to be like not fun at all. I mean, that's like if you're going to tag something, sleep all day, party all night, it must be great to be a vampire. Make it feel like it would be great to be a vampire. Like Michael really wants to become a vampire.
He did.
Did he?
He was trying to get in with that. Okay. All
okay,
right.
I mean,
you given your ruling.
No.
No, David was trying to get laid. Okay, let's be honest.
No, David was the vampire. Michael.
Okay.
Michael was chasing a girl.
I don't see Michael. I don't even. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Make it to where Michael wants to be a vampire. He didn't. He was reluctant all the way through. No. Make it where he wants to be one. Make it where she wants to be one. Make it where Lanny wants to be one. If that's going to be your tag. Okay, that's
Okay.
I know I'm making people mad. Okay,
that is your
but I'm
opinion
just
on this.
yeah.
You are entitled
again,
to it.
My opinions don't necessarily reflect everybody else on this podcast.
we've
or
given
even
that
a lot of
disclaimer
our,
many
and I'm
times.
sure a lot of our listeners as well.
All right. So
But-
so Dave has given his, you've given yours. Let me finish up with mine. As far as showbiz tokens on this one, I would give this one probably about 3.5 on this, just for the simple fact that to me it is a timepiece. It is something that does kind of hit that element and hit that era of the 80s rockers, the 80s burnouts, the 80s punk kids, the unwashed masses, the lost boys, what they were priding themselves to be. Does it have plot holes? Absolutely. Does it have pacing issues to your terms? Yes, it does. Is there a lot wrong with this movie? Yes, but there's also a lot right with this movie. And honestly, I will go on record by saying without this movie, you don't get any other vampire movies going down. You don't get Anne Rice's stuff. You don't get
I
Twilight.
disagree
Anne
with
Rice's
that.
stuff was already out at this point.
I
not,
disagree with
not in
that.
movie form.
No, but the
But
books
that's
were,
what
and
I'm
those
saying.
books were massively popular.
They were,
so.
but I'm saying as far as to actually take those elements, because this modernized a lot of the elements that Lugosi set forth when he was depicting Dracula. Maybe not in the way that
I'm
you guys
getting ready
agree
to-
with.
But
I'm
your
getting ready-
statement that without this movie you get no other vampire movies, I don't agree. with that.
I agree with it, and I'm getting ready to commit serious heresy on this podcast.
Oh, God.
Yes, without this movie, you don't get John Carpenter's vampires.
Okay.
That movie is a piece of shit.
Well, I was also going to say you don't get Twilight, which maybe is a blessing and a curse. I don't know. But
And Dave is like trying to tell me I'm wrong, but he knows it's true.
there's not a whole lot redeemable about John Carpenter's vampires. I'll be
I
very
hate
honest.
you both.
There's really not, Dave. I'm sorry.
Really hate you both.
I can't argue with him on this one. But I will say, I mean, like I said, and maybe it's the nostalgia aspect of it. I will grant that. Maybe it's, to Dave's point, the strength of the soundtrack that carries a lot of this with this movie. I'll give you that.
Here's one you'll agree with. Without this movie, you don't get Dracula 2000.
Oh, yeah. But you do get Vampire in Brooklyn. Anyway, no.
Dave is so hating me right now.
Oh, jeez. But I do think, again, this is, I won't say it's one of my favorite movies. It's definitely a movie that if I'm flipping channels and it's on, I'm going to watch it. I'm going to sit there and enjoy that moment in time.
At a time in my life,
Okay?
if I was flipping through and this was on, or somebody's like, hey, you want to watch Lost Boys? Yeah. As I got older and my taste refined, no.
I
this
would
movie-
argue that your taste never refined.
Yeah, whatever.
I will say that
Mr. OC.
there is one reference that
Right,
I
bitch.
still love about this movie. In the movie Reservoir Dogs,
Mm-hmm.
when Tim Roth is going through his whole spiel of trying to work up his story, his anecdote, he goes, I'm trying to fucking watch The Lost Boys. I'm
Yeah.
like, where did that come from?
Yeah, it's Quentin Tarantino.
Hey, you know what?
Working in a movie.
I'll give him props on that. He could have
video
chosen
store.
any other movie, but he chose Lost Boys. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I could see that argument.
All right.
So, all right.
So, if you guys want to send hate mail,
Send it all to Alan.
Project-
Because he deserves it.
projectgenxpod@gmail.com. We will read it on the air. You know this. You've listened to the show. You know. Or Discord. Go to Discord. All those links are in our show notes if you're not already there.
If you're a big fan of the grease up sax player,
Yeah, there you go. If you still believe.
If you still believe.
I don't believe it.
It's not so much. It's not just the fact that he's singing this incredibly cheesy 80s song,
Oh, it
or
couldn't
that
be
he's
more cheese.
or that he's all greased up with no shirt on. It's the pelvic thrusting that he's doing while he's playing the sax.
with the ponytail, the shirtless aspect of it, and he's like playing the sax like he's trying to swing an axe,
Pretty sure it's bacon grease.
It's so bad.
It's lube. Just call it what it is. It's lube.
No, it's bacon grease.
But seriously, guys, hit us up on Discord. Let us know what you think of this movie. If you loved it, if you hate it, if you think we're completely full of shit, if you think that you agree with us, disagree with us. We want to hear from you. We want to hear what your memories are of this movie. We want to hear what you think about what Alan has spewed forth. We want to hear all of these things.
I like how you use the word spewed.
You don't so much talk as you erupt, okay? So you're like a pimple, just ready to pop. Anyway, but hit us up there. Hit us up on Instagram. Send us emails. please hit the subscribe button after this one. I know it's a little bit of a request, but
Hey, hit subscribe for me, not for Alan.
True. Yeah.
Do it
Dave,
for me because you like.
Do it for the Dave.
Because
Give it to the Dave.
I'm trying to keep the show on track.
Look, I will say this.
Please don't.
I will say this.
You always do, but please don't.
Ultimately, what it comes down to, if you love me, that's fine. If you hate me, I like that even better. But there is no person on this planet who meets me and goes, "Yeah, he's all right." And I'll tell you what. And let me tell you what. If I ever meet someone who says, "Yeah, he's all right," I will go completely Jesus Christ on you, and I will spew your lukewarmness out of my mouth. Okay.
Thanks for that imagery.
Could we just end the podcast now? I'm done.
Dirty all of a sudden. I don't know why.
I may not be back for any more episodes. I'm done. I'm the other guy, Big Dave. Bye.